We live in a world of constant observation. Your location, your purchases, and your private communications are continually tracked and categorized by algorithms. For some, the only rational response to this surveillance is to voluntarily step away and disappear from the grid entirely. Every time you open an account, post a photo, or even browse an online store, you leave a permanent trace. Those individual actions accumulate rapidly, forming a dense, highly trackable digital footprint that maps your habits and history. To disappear, you have to systematically dismantle that map. This requires auditing your online presence, scrubbing your data from the internet, and legally forcing search engines to forget your past. Executing this purge requires 4 specific tools: a personal computer, a list of legacy emails, a government-issued ID, and the patience to wait out mandatory 30-day processing windows. Executing a deliberate digital purge reclaims your autonomy, providing the secure blank slate necessary to build your future. Before you delete a single piece of data, you have to know exactly what is out there. Next, document the current state of your search results using a time-stamped certification tool like Save the Proof. Save the Proof is an application that captures and certifies web pages so they can be used as legally valid evidence. Capturing this before state is your insurance policy. If a tech company or a data broker later refuses your deletion request, you have the certified proof required to escalate the issue to a legal authority. With your records secured, you can begin closing your social media, shopping, and forum accounts. Directory tools like Just Delete Me, a website that provides direct links to account closure pages, allow you to bypass confusing menus and find the exact deletion forms immediately. This flowchart illustrates 2 commonly confused options. On the left, deactivating merely pauses your public profile, while a company securely retains your information. On the right, permanently deleting triggers a mandatory 30-day countdown timer. Once expired, your data is actually wiped from the servers. Skipping the legal documentation phase and mistaking a temporary deactivation for a permanent deletion are the 2 most common reasons a digital purge fails. Even with your accounts gone, your information often remains accessible through commercial data brokers. Entities like Spokeo and White Pages scrape public records, aggregate your personal details, and sell them to anyone willing to pay. To sever your information from these brokers, you have to scroll to the very bottom of their websites. Hidden in the deep footer menus, you will usually find a tiny link reading "Do not sell or share my personal information." Clicking that link begins a manual opt-out process. Because there is no central database, you must submit a separate removal request form for every individual data broker that holds your information. These companies deliberately design the removal process to be tedious, to discourage users. You have to be persistent and complete every single form. Completing these opt-outs cuts off the primary fuel source for public background checks. Without the data brokers, it becomes exceptionally difficult for anyone to conduct casual surveillance. Your next target is the search engines. In the European Union, citizens have a legal protection known as the right to be forgotten. This framework empowers individuals to legally force search engines to delink their pasts. This power originates from a ruling by the European Court of Justice, determining that tech giants must comply with strict data privacy laws. The specific precedent was set by Mario Costeja Gonzalez. He successfully sued Google to remove links to an obsolete 1998 newspaper article from search results. To exercise this right today, you submit a search removal request. You start by selecting your country of residence and pasting the specific URLs that contain your sensitive information. You must then write a short description justifying why the link is a privacy violation. Finally, as shown in this form interface, you must attach a copy of a government-issued photo ID to prove your identity. After submission, you will receive an email confirmation. The search engine's tech teams then initiate a review period to evaluate the validity of your request. There is a public interest limitation to this process. Search engines weigh your personal privacy against the public's right to know. If your request involves criminal records, public office, or major news events, the tech teams will likely reject it. Deleting your old data clears the board. Now, you have to shift to a proactive defense to prevent any new data from being collected. Your first line of defense is a virtual private network, or VPN. It routes your internet connection through a secure server, acting as a digital invisibility cloak to mask your location and activities. Next, you must practice strict signal discipline. This means deliberately limiting when, where, and how you transmit any data to the outside world. When you do need to communicate, switch entirely to encrypted platforms. Avoid signing up for any new services, apps, or subscriptions that require your true identity. True anonymity is a two-step equation. You achieve it by destroying the footprints of your past and strictly encrypting every action you take in the future. At this point, your digital scrub is complete. Your old data is bleeding out of broker databases, and search engines are actively processing your removal requests. This cyclical timeline graphic shows your new maintenance routine. You must set a strict calendar reminder every 6 months to loop back, re-audit the search engines, and request the deletion of any resurfaced data. Maintaining a hidden profile requires eternal vigilance, as digital privacy functions as a continuous lifestyle habit rather than a single checklist item. With your digital presence secured, you are ready for the next phase, taking your physical life off the grid and securing a remote sanctuary. Digital erasure is the mandatory foundational first step before you can safely drop off the map.